Hi, this is Louise Legat from the Purpose Led School, and welcome to this week's short. What I want to look at today is the whole concept of the conversations that we're not having. And where this has come from is I was having actually an amazing conversation this morning with a very successful pioneer, and we were exploring where capitalism needed to go next. Now, I'm going to be clear, we don't have the answers. And at the same time, what was amazing was that we were having the conversation. We were starting to explore, what if we actually own up to the fact that one of the big problems is capitalism? What about if we sit in the discomfort of admitting to ourselves that maybe it's past its sell-by date? What then? What are the new conversations that we would need to be willing to engage in to create something new? And many times, we've kind of touched on this topic with people that I work with in different modalities. And especially when I speak to my corporate crew out there, what they say to me is, oh my God, just don't go there, because people will just think that you're crazy. Now, having been a pioneer and an innovator for most of my life, and in relation to the new economy for the last 14 years, that bit doesn't particularly scare me. Because what I've really learned is, okay, there needs to be those who are willing to go and have the scary conversations over there. And then we have those, and then through having these conversations, we start to look at things differently, we start to explore, we start to discover, we start to uncover. And from there, new possibilities actually do emerge. And then there comes a point where we can come back and say, hey, it's okay. We can have this conversation because it's not that scary, because here's the map for what we need to do next. So that bit doesn't personally really scare me. But what I would love for us to get to is that we aren't so scared about those conversations in the first place. Because I know that we're trying to get comfort by thinking, hey, we can keep the system as it is with a few tweaks of innovation and it's all going to be okay. Now, the reality is there's a good chance that is not how it's going to play out. So, how about we start to have the scarier conversations? Just owning that they are scary conversations, as opposed to shooting down the people who are even trying to have them. Because that's what happens. The pioneer, the visionary, the innovator comes along and says, hey, we probably need to look at that. And then what happens is inside of us, we go, oh my God, that is uncomfortable. I do not want to go there. And instead of saying, oh my God, I hear you, I know we need to have that conversation, and it is bringing up so much for me, we shut down that pioneer, that innovator, that potential for an amazing conversation. And so, for me here, what I want to offer up is, can we have the courage to go and have the hard conversations? The ones where there are not going to be any obvious answers straight away. But the ones that we really need to engage in order to have even a chance for the new solutions to actually emerge. I was recently talking to actually a consultant, someone who was doing some consulting. And one of the conversations that we were having in this context was how the role of a consultant is shifting when we're wanting to be operating in the new economy. in the sense that in the past, there's been an element of a consultant being someone who looks at everything and then has the perfect answers, tells you what the perfect answer is, and then you implement it. Now, we all know that that doesn't actually really work, right? You know, ever been on the receiving end of consultants who come in and brought in some changes, and you're kind of going, what has that got to do with even my role? Did they even understand what I do? So, but we have been living under the illusion that it has been working. And the reason I'm bringing it up is one of the conversations that we had around that was how in the new, the role of a consultant is very different. It's much more about an incubation role, about helping incubate new ideas, new solutions, creating a space of transformation, of deep reflection, where we can have those hard conversations, those disrupting conversations, where we can sit in the discomfort of that, and where we can have the safety to explore what could come next without being perfect, without knowing the answers, knowing that it's going to take an unbelievable amount of creativity and creative ability, and for us to all band together in order to be able to have that new actually emerge. But for that, it all starts again at the willingness to stop having conversations which are all black or right or white, and actually all right or wrong, you know, those conversations. It's more about being willing to go into having the conversations we're afraid of, because they do throw us so much into the unknown, into the uncertainty, into a place where everything feels unstable. And being willing to sit there together and go, we don't know yet, but we are now looking towards the right horizon. And we're going to start walking. And in a world where we have been so trained to just set some objectives, have our KPIs, and start walking towards them, what we're being called to do is, once we've had those conversations, to understand that part of what comes next is that incubation. And that what we need to be learning to do and willing to do and hold space for is to incubate what we can't imagine yet. And what I've found is there's something amazingly exciting in that. Because that's how we really help the world move forward. And for those of us looking for meaning, that is what has true meaning. To live and leave a powerful imprint in helping define the world that has not yet been imagined, but is to come next. And as ever, let me know how it lands. I love to hear. And particularly, what are you going to do differently as a result?